Hey everybody, Doug Rucker here with DougRuckerSchool.com and DougRuckerStore.com. Hey, one of the questions I get asked a lot and very often is, what is the percentage coming out of my downstream injector? So we're going to talk about that a little bit coming up next. Okay, guys, so to start off, I told you we're going to talk a little bit about what's the final percentage coming out of your injector. And I've got to be upfront with you. I have never really measured what my injector is putting out. We use 5 and 8 gallon per minute machines, but mostly 8 gallon per minute machines. So we use a 3 to 5 gallon per minute injector with the check valve on it. And that gives us a little bit stronger mix than if we were using the 5 to 8 gallon per minute mix. And so the main thing that I'm looking for when I'm downstream injecting is I'm looking for that algae or those organic stains. Basically, is the injector that I'm going to use, the machine I'm going to be using, is it strong enough to change the color of those organic stains? And if I feel it's not, then I'm going to have to use my dedicated pump like the Kingslinger to get a stronger mix than what the injector will put out. Now, oftentimes, like cleaning brick, I'll use a downstream injector because I know with brick, I still have to use a little bit of what I call encouragement, light pressure to remove those organic stains. Because when you get down to it, all that's happening is that the bleach in your mix is changing the color of that organic stains if the bleach mix is strong enough. Sometimes on downstream injection, if you've got black mildew, then the bleach may not be delivered at a strong enough ratio in order to have that color change. But it's still going to have a little effect. And if you're using a good soap, like I use the Dougie Fresh soap, it's still going to help to pull some of that off. But no matter what, you're still going to have to use a little encouragement, a little light pressure to clean that algae off of that brick. Now what happens is when we use a stronger mix, like a dedicated pump, like the Kingslinger, like I was mentioning, say a 30% to 40% or 50% mix, that's when we're going to get the color change. And I'll show you here in a minute what that looks like. But basically, once it changes the color, that's when you know that the bleach has done its job and you can use the light pressure. Now, on a light colored background like white, say a white vinyl sided house or white painted house, hardy plank, whatever, if you've got green algae or you've got black mildew or whatever, and you get the strong enough bleach mix to get the full color change on that algae, then it's going to look clean, but it's not actually clean. That algae is still there. It's just dead and the color has changed on it. And so that's when you have to be able to rinse it off. And depending on if it's a porous surface or a smooth surface, what type of light pressure that you use. So let's go out into the field. I've got some pictures I took on a job and a little bit of video, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail. So I purposely chose this red brick wall. This is at a school that we've been cleaning, getting ready for back to school. And this is kind of like a little maintenance shed where they keep equipment. But this brick has a couple of different things going on here. We've got some of this gold mold or mustard mold. To the left, you can see in the kind of yellow color. And then we've got the black algae on it. And so what I've done here is I've pre-treated first downstreaming. I know that downstreaming is not really going to change the color of this black algae. So I would need to use a little bit stronger mix. And so what I do is go to my dedicated pump system, my soft wash system, the Kingslinger, and pretty much went with a 50-50 mix just because I wanted to get that big color change on it and lighten it quite a bit. Now, what happens is when you do this on a colored background like this, all that bleach is doing is changing. And I just want you to always think of this, it's changing the color of those organic stains. It's not necessarily cleaning it, it's just killing whatever mildew or organic stains that the bleach can physically touch. And then it's doing what bleach does, it's changing the color of it. And so once I'm satisfied with that color change, which is usually a few minutes, then you're always going to have to come back with a little bit of pressure, a little bit of encouragement to clean that surface and make it look good again, make it look new again. So the first step always when applying in a situation like this where you've got the grass, the green grass at the bottom, is first off, I always pre-wet any type of surface I'm going to apply any type of chemical to. And so I spend a little bit of time getting the brick nice and wet. That just kind of helps soften the surface. It helps it receive the chemical. And depending on the surface you're cleaning, it can also help prevent flash drying. Not necessarily on brick, but some other surfaces. And I just say that because it's just a good habit to get into, to always pre-wet your surface. And then what I also do is spend some time really saturating the grass down below with water. And so I do that as part of when I'm wetting the brick. I'll, of course, get that water running down. That will help that. And then I spend a little time on the grass, even flooding it a little bit more. And so you can do that with just an open ball valve. And sometimes I'll even fully open the ball valve and just kind of stand there. So getting total volume of the water to soak that grass and pre-wet it. So when a stronger mix is coming down there, it'll have less effect on it. Hey guys, real quick, be sure to leave me a comment or a question if you have on any questions that I'm talking about, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications. Hit that notification bell. That will let you know every time I come out with a video that might can help you. So once I've applied my mix to the building or to this brick, you can see the color change kind of down towards the bottom and the middle. Now the right side I did not treat. That's why it's still black. And so in a minute, when you see me cleaning it with the pressure washing wand, you'll see it's still kind of black. The gold mold, mustard mold, it will not have a whole lot of change of color, very slight. This kind of stuff is very popular out in California, especially on roofs. It's very tough to get off. Bleach really doesn't do anything other than maybe loosening it, and it always needs pressure to come off. So you guys in California that have tile roofs and see this, you just need to make sure on the roofs that you're letting your customer know that's still going to be there, and it's going to take several hard rainfalls for it to come off. But anyway, once we have applied our solution, and this is a 50-50 mix, we've got our color change. We've let it dwell for a little bit. We know now it's time to come in with a little pressure. So using the 8-gallon per minute machine and a 25-20 rinse tip, it's called a low rinse tip. I just simply go over it. This is very low pressure. It looks like it's high pressure, but it's not. And so I'm just, like I said, giving it a little encouragement. And now you can see with a little bit of pressure how that gold mold just comes right off. And so this is very important. Again, just to remember, this is the process and procedure on porous surfaces like this red brick. Again, like I said before, if this is a white background, a lot of this stuff won't be seen because you'll have a full color change and it looks like it's clean, but it's actually not. It still has to be rinsed. And so you can see me going up to the part that has not been treated or cleaned or anything like that. So this is basically it in a nutshell. It's just kind of, you know, applying your bleach mix. And it's really, I know we talked about, we're going to talk about injector percentage, and I'm going to touch on that in just a second. But when I see black algae like this, I just know that I'm generally going to need a stronger bleach mix to get that color changed. Now, I could have very easily just downstream this and then cleaned it like this on the black part, and you can see it's not quite as clean as the left side, but I could have come back in with a much less bleach percentage, like 10 or 20% on this, after I have cleaned it, to get that brightened up look, which is what the bleach would do. So a couple different ways you can clean a wall like this. One is, you know, pre-treating it, then cleaning it, or you could clean it with downstreaming a couple of coats on it, then coming back with the light pressure, and then putting a lower percentage bleach instead of 50-50 if you wanted to. And either way, you're going to get pretty much the same results. But on poor surfaces, you're always going to have to use a little bit of pressure, especially when it's a colored background like this. And here you see me using the gun swivel, where I can turn it, you know, horizontal or vertical. Very easy to do that, especially trimming around sides. And so yeah, ends up being a beautiful wall when I'm done. And then the final thing I do is come in and post-treat, just another little application of the mix, let it dwell for a little bit, and then completely rinse it, and that'll just really brighten everything up and give you an awesome looking completed project. Okay guys, so just remember that all your bleach mix is doing, once you apply it, depending how strong a mix you apply, is the bleach is just changing the color of it. Once it's done its thing, then you'll see the change of color, and it normally on a red background like this is just going to change it and turn it to a white color. And then what you have to do is come back behind with a little bit of pressure to clean all of this completely off. And it doesn't need full pressure. You can use like the rinse tip I was using before, or you can use the adjustable wand that we sell, where you can control your pressure. Either way is fine. Depending, you know, if it's really bad black mildew at the bottom versus what this green was, I may use the adjustable wand, because sometimes I need to use a little bit more pressure in certain areas and sometimes a little bit less pressure. So that just allows me to control the pressure as I'm cleaning, versus having to pull the wand off the surface, which you may not get the full effect or the full pressure that you need on a certain spot. Okay, guys, so I know we started off talking about, we're going to talk about bleach percentage and how you determine what you've got coming out when you're downstreaming. And again, I mentioned that it doesn't really matter to me. I just know I'm using an 8-gallon per minute machine. I'm downstreaming full strength 12.5% bleach. I'm looking for a change of color depending on the surface that I'm cleaning and how bad the stains are. So most downstream injectors are going to get you at most probably about 8%. If you're using a check valve, you can get up to, that's advertised, up to 20% more. So again, I make the determination, do I want to downstream, or do I, because of the surface and how bad the stains are, do I need to get that 30%, 40%, 50% mix, or that higher mix ratio than what downstream can get me? So it just kind of depends on the job, comes with experience, that type of thing. But down below in the comments of this video, I'm going to list the instructions for a bucket test that you can do to help you determine the ratio you're getting from your injector. And I'm going to have a link to a place that you can go that has a calculator that can also help you. Both of those things are a little bit too more involved than I really care to get into, but a lot of guys like to know that. So hopefully those two things will be helpful. Please don't forget to leave me a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so that you get notifications when I come out with new content that could be helpful for you. Don't forget my online school at DougRuckerSchool.com, over 200 something videos. In fact, there will be a video similar to this, but a little bit more in depth for my online school students. So again, that's at DougRuckerSchool.com, and then DougRuckerStore.com. If we can help you in any way with any type of pressure washer, Kingslinger soft wash system, anything you need, then check us out there. I'm also going to put that bucket test instructions and also the link for that calculator on the DougRuckerStore.com website, where we have downstream injectors and all of that kind of stuff. So it's accessible there as well, but it'll be down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate our YouTube community very much. And again, any questions, any comments, if I've totally confused you, I'm sorry. But just did want to give you a little lesson that might help you with cleaning and determining which way you want to go, because there's only two ways you can apply your mix: using a pressure washer or using a dedicated pump. And a dedicated pump is simply a pump up sprayer all the way to a 12 volt gas operated air diaphragm, whatever you use. I simply call dedicated pumps pump ups on steroids. But anyway, y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much.